Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We'll chant Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verses 26 to 30.
अथ चैनं नित्यजातं नित्यं वा मन्यसे मृतं तथापि त्वं महाबाहो नैनं शोचितुमर्हसि जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युः ध्रुवं जन्म मृतस्य च तस्मादपरिहार्येऽर्थे न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि अव्यक्तादीनि भूतानि व्यक्तमध्यानि भारत अव्यक्तनिधनान्येव तत्र का परिदेवना आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेनम् आश्चर्यवद्वदति तथैव चान्यः आश्चर्यवच्चैनमन्यः शृणोति श्रुत्वाप्येनं वेद न चैव कश्चित् देहि नित्यमवध्योऽयम् देहे सर्वस्य भारत तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि.
So far, we have done up to shloka number 27 of this chapter. Starting from verse number 11 till 30, Sri Krishna is talking about the indestructibility of the Atman. The indestructibility of the Atman is what Sri Krishna is talking about in this chapter, in this particular topic. So he is introducing the self to the individual. All of us are ignorant of our true nature. We do not know what is our real self. Who am I? As a result of that, we have imagined a false personality, and due to that, we identify with this body and the world and go through the ups and downs. We go through samsaric cycle, the affectations. So therefore, he says, the problem is attachment that comes out of ignorance of your true nature. You need to get rid of the attachment through gaining the knowledge of the self. So he's giving the knowledge of the self from verse number 11 onwards. So now till he talked about Atma, gave a lot of pointers. Now in 26 to 30, in these shlokas, he's saying even if you assume that you are this individual who goes from one birth to another, even then there is no problem. That is what he's trying to say from verse number 26. But if you think this, meaning Atma, as constantly being born and constantly dying, even then, O Mahabaho, O mighty armed Arjuna, you should not grieve like this. Why? Because certain indeed is death for the born and certain is birth for the dead. Therefore, you should not grieve over the inevitable. So he says, even if you think that you are this individual, limited personality, then also there is nothing to grieve, because this limited personality is born constantly, it dies constantly. Where is the problem? He already explained, like you go through childhood, youth, old age, and then death. And death is not a comma. It is only it's not a full stop. It's only a comma. So as long as you have not exhausted your vasanas, whatever the remaining vasanas are there, accordingly, you'll be born again. You'll go through your life And again, the same thing continues. In the next Janma, if still Vasanas are remaining, you will have another birth, it goes on. Till the time you really get rid of all your Vasanas. When you have removed all your Vasanas, then you have merged with the reality, the truth. The individual has merged with the total. You have lost the identity with the limited personality, and you have merged yourself with the infinite reality. So you have gained when you have exhausted the vasanas. So there is no problem from that angle. Now, when you look at yourself from the individual who has not exhausted vasanas, then also no problem. Why? Because you continue. You move from one body to another, one body to another. You go on like that. So where is the problem? He says, there is nothing lost. And each one gets another body which is conducive for them. From there, they continue their life. So when you get another opportunity to be born as a human being, you should work towards exhausting the vasanas. If not, you will continue. So that's why he says, why are you sitting and grieving over what is inevitable? Everybody has to go through according to their karma. What you sow, you reap. In this battle, with reference to this battle, whatever is going to happen is going to happen according to karma. When we say in this battle, it could refer to the Kurukshetra war or our own life. Everything happens according to one's karma. And it is inevitable. You have already sown the seed. You will have to reap it. Why are you sitting and crying now? What is inevitable, you should learn to accept cheerfully and then deal with it rather than trying to run away from it or sit and cry. You can do nothing about it. Therefore, he says, since it's inevitable, Arjuna, why you want to sit and cry? You should not grieve like this. Understand and move on. Verse number 28.
अव्यक्तादीनि भूतानि व्यक्तमध्यानि भारत अव्यक्तनिधनान्येव तत्र का परिदेवना.
Sri Krishna continues his analysis here. He says, beings are unmanifest in their origin, manifest in their middle, unmanifest again in their end. Oh Bharata, what is there to grieve about? See, we started this class at 11 o'clock. Before 11 o'clock, with reference to this room, all of us were unmanifest. Okay. Now, from 11 o'clock onwards, we are manifest in this room. And when we end this class around 12:15, we will again become unmanifest with reference to this room. That's all he's saying. Avyaktadhini bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharata. Bharata refers to Arjuna. Born in this country, Bharat, which values knowledge. See, the main contribution to this universe by this nation is this knowledge of the self. Vedas, Vedanta, Upanishads. The summary of the Upanishads is Bhagavad Gita. Elaborated summary, you can say. So, he's telling Arjuna, you're born here in this land. You should gain this wisdom. You should gain this wisdom and live this knowledge. Oh, Bharata, please understand. We were unmanifest before. In the beginning, the vasanas were there. Then they manifest. And we come into existence available for our senses. See, when you say manifest means available for the senses. So now you have come into manifestation. After a while, you will again go back to manifestation. Where is the problem? Matthew Arnold beautifully gives a quotation. He says, life is an arrow shot from darkness, flutters in light for a while, and disappears into darkness. We are all like that, an arrow that has come into light now. It was already traveling, it was in darkness before. It's come into light. Now again it will go into darkness. We don't know where we come from. We don't know where we going. But we only know now we are here, right now. So when we are here in this world, and due to karma having taken birth as human beings, we have a great opportunity to gain this knowledge, sitting and thinking and reflecting over that knowledge. We can understand if something has come into manifestation, it must have been in unmanifestation before. And when this is exhausted, it'll again go back to unmanifest, again come to manifest. As long as the vasanas exist. When the vasanas are gone, everything gone. Then what happens is, vasanas means what? Nothing but ignorance. The ignorance is gone. You have become one with reality. You thereafter don't identify with this manifested personality anymore. So therefore he says, all this was in unmanifestation, comes into manifestation, and again goes into unmanifestation. While we are in manifested state, we dread the unmanifested. Why? Because it's unknown. Fear, one of the reasons for fear is ignorance, unknown. No, you are afraid of unknown. Ignorance causes fear. Selfishness causes fear. Isn't it? When you are extremely selfish, there is tremendous insecurity. Then there is destructive nature that causes fear. So when we identify with the ego, we become self-centered. We remain ignorant of the true self. We have no knowledge about life. So we remain ignorant about life. All these factors are unknown to us. And that causes fear, insecurity. Pata nahi kya hoga? We want this to continue like this. That's the problem. See, what is the truth at the relative level, we need to accept and move on in life. Make the most of the time that is given to you. Rather than sitting and worrying about again I become unmanifest. So all this he is beautifully explaining here. This is how the whole thing goes. Like the wave rises from the ocean. Again it goes back into the ocean. So where is the problem? There is nothing lost, nothing gained. If you understand it from that angle. Again going back to unmanifestation. Because you understand it is what falls down will have to rise. What goes up will have to come down. This is life. In the share market it happens, no? Sensex keeps on going up, then falls. And they say so many people have lost so much money. And similarly when it goes up, so many people have gained so much money. All this tamasha is going on. Rises, falls. Rises, falls. Rises, falls. And when it is rising and falling, there is someone witnessing this rising and falling. And that's you. That's what Sri Krishna is teaching us. The beings are going up and down, manifesting and manifesting, manifesting and manifesting. Like it's happening in the minuscule level every night. All of us go to unmanifestation. Then manifest in the morning, the whole day. Again unmanifest. Again manifest. If you had a thought, doubt in your head, whether I'll get up in the morning tomorrow or not, maybe I'll die in the sleep. Will you go to sleep? You will not go to sleep. You'll be afraid. But you understand that, okay, I go to sleep, I'll wake up in the morning. I'll go to sleep, I'll wake up in the morning. Without any problem, you live your life, go to sleep, wake up. Same thing same attitude we need to have in life also. From where did I come? I came from my vasanas. What is happening now? The vasanas are manifesting. Now, when I live unconsciously, unintelligently, indiscriminately, I'll be adding more and more vasanas. And when I add more and more vasanas, the resultant of my vasanas determine my course of life. Accordingly, I will give up this body and take up a new body in the next Janma. So again, I'll go to unmanifestation and then manifest. So when I understand this, I need to act in this world consciously using my discriminating ability, faculty. You understand? Therefore, I need to use the time in this world to strengthen my buddhi, strengthen my intellect, so that I can guide the mind, to guide the body to act in this world consciously, so that I can drop the vasanas and not pick up vasanas. So then where is the fear? Supposing I didn't do my job to the best of my ability, like we discussed just now, today. Tomorrow when you get up, you say, okay, what is gone yesterday. But today, let me live like that. So every day when you wake up, you say, I've got another opportunity to exhaust my vasanas. You don't get scared by any, unmanifestation. Again, I'll have to go into unmanifestation. No, you understand it. There is no loss. That's all he's trying to say. Technically, there is no loss. Why are you sitting and grieving, man? This is going on repeatedly, Like in the Bhajagovindam, it says, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maram. Punarapi Janani Jatare Shayam. You've already lied in many, many mothers' womb. Many births you've had. Many brothers, sisters, friends, parents you've had in the past. You just do not understand it. You just do not know about it. And then you get involved in this world and keep on, increasing your vasanas. So rather than that, what you're supposed to do is you should exhaust the vasanas, understanding this knowledge, living life consciously, totally. When you do that, then you'll be exhausting vasanas. That's all he says. Beings are unmanifest in their origin, manifest in the middle, in between, and manifest again in their end. See, it's very interesting. Origin, middle, end. But end is not really an end. End with reference to this life. But it continues. The subtle body continues. And according to the subtle body, the vasanas, you will get the new body. That's all. There's nothing happening. So why are you unnecessarily concerned, worried? In fact, all the, Shraddha ceremony and all this that we have in our custom, all based on this understanding. So, those people who have gone into manifestation, gone into unmanifestation, some are in manifestation. Then the cycle continues. Some from here will go into unmanifestation, some from unmanifestation may come back. Like this whole thing is going. This chakra is going on. So we need to understand this and then get out of the chakra. That's the idea. See, as long as you haven't gained the knowledge, you won't get out of the chakra. Forget this chakra. In daily living also, same routine, mechanical way we function. Whether we run business or we work for somebody, even family, when we run the same routine, mechanical way. Unless and until you stop, ponder and think, what is happening here? Why do I want to live like this? Continue, same thing. Mechanically, every day, the same thing. Get up in the morning, run, acquire, and then enjoy. That's what we are doing, isn't it? All of us get up, work, Monday till Friday. Then we say, thank God it's Friday. And then Saturday, Sunday, we want to enjoy. Then again get frustrated, again Monday is coming. Then run Monday onwards till Friday. Like this same way we are living. Why? Because you never stop and question. Never stop and question. Swamiji, when he lectures, he mentions very often, in many of his lectures, he mentions, I've been unemployed for the last 60 years, 40 years, 50 years, As he was aging, he'll say 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. The sense he stopped working after 30. When he says that, unemployed, he's not really unemployed. See, when you gain this knowledge, please understand this. When you gain this knowledge, you cannot be an employee. You will only be doing service. In the world, you may be working in an organization. From that angle, they may call you an employee. That is okay. But you are not working for that salary. Salary is only a byproduct. Anyone who's got this knowledge cannot be an employee, will never sell himself or herself for X amount of money. The employer is paying that money only for the time given by that person, not the work. The work is service. Because when that person gains this knowledge, that person doesn't do work as a doer. The divinity in which he is or she is dissolved oneself functions, the nature expresses. Who can pay for that person's work? That's called service. Nobody can pay for the service. Please understand this. So you will be living. When you understand this knowledge, when you manifest, you are completely in the present with no worries of the past or anxieties of the future. Where did I come from? Don't worry. What is going to happen to me in future? Don't worry. Why you want to sit and worry about unknown factors? This is known, na? This life I am living here. Let me live 100% consciously. As much as possible. Living in the moment totally. So that's what he's saying. When you gain this knowledge, you will get out of that cycle, routine, mechanical way of functioning. Go to work, get some money, acquire, enjoy. Acquire, enjoy. Acquire, enjoy. Acquire, enjoy. You will continue like this in life till you do not question. This is what, in many of his books, especially in The Fall of the Human Intellect, also Swamiji mentions herd instinct, paid chal. You never question, what is this? Is this the way to live? Is this all it is? Let's go to school, gain information, get a certificate that you've got so much information, and you show that certificate, get a job, which will give you some money. With that, you acquire, enjoy. Run, acquire, enjoy. Acquire, enjoy. And then, one fine day, die. Isn't there a better way to live? When will you do that? Only when you stop and question. So, this is what he's doing. When you understand this, this is how the cycle is going. When will you get out of that? The more you understand it. When you don't understand, you don't get out. You continue. When you pause and think means you are now getting out of that cycle. You can't function like that mechanically. When they released the iPhone, madness everywhere. There's one gentleman where I take class in Delhi. He was in New York, I believe, then I don't know which series, iPhone 13, 14, what was released that time. He was in New York. He generally is an early waker. But that day he woke up and he said, today let me go. Nearby, in the hotel where he was staying nearby to the place, I believe there is this iPhone shop. So he went to see what is happening there. I believe morning 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, there is big queue. to get that same iPhone, which anyway they can get next day, next to next day also. Same thing is happening with reference to the movie when it releases. Oh, the thing is, they are not saying don't do that. Do whatever you want to do. Who am I to say anything? But 1 minute if we pause, we can take our life in our hands. Just 1 minute. That's all Sri Krishna is telling. Just stand apart and observe. What is happening? Where were these beings? How can they come from nothing and go into nothing? Nothing can come from nothing. Isn't it? So therefore, if you have come now, this you know. When you know this, you must have been existing before in the unmanifest form. Similarly, when you die, you have so many desires. How can all these desires, energies, go into nothing? Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another. We know that, no? In the science, law of conservation of energy is telling us this. So you could have not come from nothing. Suddenly everything comes and goes from what? From where? So he says, no, already it has been existing at the subtle level, unmanifest level. From that it's come. Then it goes into unmanifestation. So this is continuing. So when I begin to understand, see, the way to gain control over one's life is by gaining more and more knowledge, understanding. Any sport also is like this. When they understand, they can control. When you don't understand, you don't control. So that's all he's doing. Why is he giving all this knowledge? Why is he telling, earlier it was unmanifest, now it's manifest, afterwards unmanifest. Okay, so what? Big deal. No, when you understand this, then to the extent you understand, to that extent, you will be out of this cycle. When you're outside of it, to that extent, you can control it directly. Then you become the CEO of your life, master of your life. That's all it is. That's the difference. No? Supposing you get access to see from camera, you can dictate terms. Other fellows are not able to see. You are able to see. So you can give information. There is that fellow already waiting there. You understand? So this fellow will go in a different route. So it's like that objectivity will come in life. The more and more you begin to understand this, then death will not be a cause of worry anymore. Death will be not a cause of worry anymore. It won't be occupying your mind at all. You will just live your life totally and one day you will die. That's gone. That's it. That's all he says. Therefore, sitting and grieving over the manifest or the unmanifest makes no sense. Continue. Shloka number 29.
आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेनम् आश्चर्यवद्वदति तथैव चान्यः आश्चर्यवच्चैनमन्यः शृणोति श्रुत्वाप्येनं वेद न चैव कश्चित्.
So, is discussed the truth from the absolute level as well as from the relative level. So, having discussed all that, now he's slowly taking us to a logical conclusion. So he says, one sees this meaning Atma. In Swamiji's translation, you can see this is with capital T. One sees this as a wonder. So also another speaks of this as a wonder. Another hears of this as a wonder, and though having heard, none knows this at all. Ascharya is this. So wonderment. Wonderment means beyond intellect. It's when you open your mouth and say, huh? What is this? I don't understand. So he says, one sees this as a wonder. All this is fine, whatever I'm hearing, but it's unbelievable, man. It's a wonderment. Another fellow, he says, speaks of this as wonderment. You hear your guru speak, then you also repeat. You speak about Atma, it's wonderment. My God, it's baffling. Another listening to you, hearing this as a wonder. Whether hearing, speaking, you are wondering. That's all he's saying. You are in constant wonder, meaning it's beyond your buddhi. It's beyond your intellect. This Atma is beyond your intellect. You cannot understand it. You can only dissolve the ego and merge with it. You become one with it. So whether you are listening or you are speaking about it, whether you are deeply viewing it as wonderment, finally, nobody knows it is. First of all, Atma is not an object of comprehension. It is a subjective apprehension. You cannot know it as an object. Not possible. Lakshmi Narayan, the individual, cannot know Atma. Lakshmi Narayan, the individual, can exhaust the vasanas and dissolve the ego, merge with Atma, meaning regain the identity, become enlightened. That is possible. But many talk about it. Everywhere they're going on talking about it. But hardly anyone is really exhausting vasanas and having and have merged with the truth. Hardly anyone. It is very subtle. You understand? You cannot see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it. You cannot feel it. You cannot think of it, think about it. You cannot capture it with your intellect. It is not what you see, but what makes you see. It is not what you feel, but what makes you feel. It is not what you think, what makes you think. So it's beyond the body, beyond the mind, beyond the intellect. So it's a wonderment. It is not possible to be known intellectually. So what you have to do, you have to dissolve the ego, vasanas, and merge with it, reclaim your own identity. That he says, none knows this at all. Means what? Hardly anybody knows. That's all it means to say. There's so much of talking. You could have heard about this from the master, self-realized souls, enlightened masters. But what is the effort that you have put in that direction to exhaust the vasanas? Immediately, the practical thing that we are supposed to do is we have to get out of this samsara by getting rid of the vasanas. Therefore, nobody really knows the truth. Though the truth is everywhere, the divinity is everywhere, God is everywhere, yet nobody knows it. Whatever you are seeing is what? A manifestation enlivened by divinity. So in whatever you see, there is an opportunity to get enlightened. If you shift your attention from what you see to what makes you see. Similarly, feeling and thinking. Your attention from the feeling to what makes you feel. From the thinking to what makes you think. So we all get trapped in our perceptions, actions, emotions, and thoughts. Instead, we just have to go behind and say, it is not what I see, but what makes me see. That's all it is. So, when he says Ashcharya, Ashcharya, nobody knows about God, they are only going on talking. So much of discussion is happening. We keep saying, for the last 30 years, 40 years I've been attending classes. We take pride in that, which is fine, good. They're putting in efforts, fine. But then our efforts are most of the time is only to capture the truth externally. And you will not succeed that way. It's not possible. So in spirituality, dissolving is the growth. You understand? Dissolving meaning getting rid of the ego. That's the growth. Losing is gaining. Losing is gaining. Not only in spirituality, even in material world, losing is gaining. You don't understand this. In some other context, we'll discuss that in detail. No, I can't get into that. So, everything is nothing but manifestation of God. The unmanifested is what? The subtle. And Atma is subtler than the subtle. So the Atma supports the unmanifest. And when it manifests, again the Atma supports it. Again, when it goes to unmanifestation, what is supporting? Atma. One of the pointers for Atma in the Gita, the text, the spiritual text is Bharta. Bharta means supporter. You take the pots. Pots were unmanifest before. They were remaining as clay. Then they manifest as pots. Then again they unmanifest. They go into unmanifestation. They remain as clay. Clay, pots, clay. Clay, pots, clay. So the supporting factor for the pots is what? The clay. You understand? So the supporter of the unmanifested and the manifest is the Atma. So in all the manifestation, you have an opportunity to tune yourself to the divinity. We all have an opportunity to tune ourselves into the divinity. In Tamil Nadu, we had a great poet, also a freedom fighter. His name was Mahakavi Bharati. You have this Khan market in Delhi, that road on which the Khan market is there. That road is called Mahakavi Bharati Road. Many of you may not know Mahakavi Bharati, but you know Khan market. Because Khan market is on the road of Mahakavi Bharati Road. Mahakavi Bharati sings a beautiful Tamil song. He's written, penned it. He says, Kakkai Chiraginile Nandalal. Nindan Kariya Niram Tondrudada Nandalal. Parkum Marangalallam Nandalala. Nindan Pachai Niram Tondrudaye Nandalala. Means what? Krishna. He says, in crow's feather, I am seeing the blackness of you. I'm seeing you in the blackness. Then, when I see the leaves in the tree, in all the trees, I'm seeing the green color, which is reminding me of you. Like that, it goes on. In everything, there is divinity. But the moment things manifest, we get lost. Because our attention is shifted to the sight, the sound, not to what is behind it. Isn't it? We should not get completely enamored by what we see or hear. That's what he's saying. In everything there is divinity. People keep on saying, where is God? Where is God? And there is nothing that is not God. In everything there is God. But why you are not seeing? Because your attention is extroverted. That's why he says, everybody is going on talking about God, God. So many queues. Recently, I read one news somewhere. In Tirupati Balaji, you have to stand in the queue for few hours, sometimes days also, I believe. They started fighting with each other when they were standing in the queue. What argument happened? They started fighting with each other. And they were covering all this in the news. Now, why I'm saying is, you are standing in the queue to go and have darshan of God, and there only you are fighting. So everybody is going on talking about God, but nobody really knows the truth. And if you are interested in knowing the truth, right now you can know the truth. If you are too gross, you need some, huge manifestation to be reminded of God. Maybe somebody has to take a pigeon out of the hat. Oh my God, what is happening? Or you'll have to go to the mighty Himalayas, Alps, and then be inspired. But if you are attuned to the divinity, even in subtler things you can see. Forget subtler things. Like peanuts, when you see, who's packaged it? Beautifully packaged. Banana, beautifully packaged. Orange, beautifully packaged. So, when we begin to understand what he's trying to say, we'll be wondering, my God, it is here, but I'm looking for it elsewhere. Even when we are in spiritual field, what do we say? I want to do this sadhana, unrealize the self. Meaning, what are we doing intelligently? Postponing the enlightenment to future. Enlightenment can never be in the future. Enlightenment is always in the present. Right now, here, in the moment. So therefore, he says, one sees this as a wonder, also another speaks of this as a wonder. Another hears of this as a wonder. Everybody is going on talking about God, Atma, Brahman, quoting Upanishad, this, that. And though having heard, discussed, none knows this at all. Shri Krishna says nobody knows. And even if somebody knows it, meaning realized, they cannot communicate it. How can an unconditioned person communicate to a conditioned person? That is not possible. Because we are trying to understand the infinity. We are trying to understand the infinity through the finite equipments. How can the finite equipments capture the infinity? See, just now we quoted Kena Upanishad. In Kena Upanishad, it says, it is not what you hear, but what makes you hear. Okay. Now, what do you understand from this statement? He's saying, it is not what you hear, but what makes you hear. We are taking notes. All your notes are what? Your notes are all what you heard. That means all your notes are not the truth. Because he just said, it is not what you hear. What makes you hear? How can you write down what makes you hear? While you are taking notes, you are missing what makes you hear. Because while you are taking notes, you are not here. Swamiji, if you are doing online course, there is this 3 years online course available, Swamiji's e-learning course, the entire course that we went through in the academy, taught by Swamiji, is all there, e-learning. If you want to join, you can join. Now, in the e-learning, one main thing Swamiji says is, don't take notes, he says. Now, that's what I'm explaining. Because as you are taking notes, what I take, it's not what you hear, but what makes you hear. That means you were not here. Are you getting it? If you are not here, means you missed it. We are all missing it because we are all in the head. Yeah, we are all in our perceptions, actions, emotions, and thoughts. In the perceptions, in the actions, in the emotions, in the thoughts, divinity is there. But we get lost in them rather than grasping them. So even if somebody is realized, you won't know. Vedas have declared many things, they've gone. And there's so many interpretations, and we are fighting with each other. We are more interested in proving that my interpretation is correct than in knowing the truth. And if you know the truth, you will not sit and argue. You say, Baba, leave it. That's all he's saying. None knows this at all. It remains a great secret. It still remains a mystery. Somebody goes and asks Swami Ramtikta, is God Mr. or Mrs.? He says it is neither Mr. nor Mrs. It is a mystery. You got to unravel that mystery. Do you have that in you? Do you want to really unravel the mystery, or just want to talk about it? Want to just talk about it, it's fine. So he therefore says, when you begin to drop the ego and bring out the truth from within, you will start seeing the truth splashed everywhere. Then you will say, Arey, all these days it was here and I missed it. So it's like this, you're right in front of me, but I am thinking about something, so I miss you. Exactly the same thing we are doing in life. Then in the next shloka, he concludes his, thought flow. What he started from verse number 11. With 30, he concludes the thought flow. He wants to educate us on the indestructibility of the Atman from this verse number 11. Now, verse number 30 is the conclusion of that thought flow.
देहि नित्यमवध्योऽयं देहे सर्वस्य भारत तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि.
Dehi, the indweller. This indweller in the bodies of all is ever indestructible. Whether it is unmanifest or manifest, the reality is supporting, it is always there. This manifesting, unmanifesting can do nothing to it. It neither manifests nor goes through unmanifestation. This manifestation and unmanifestation is only to the expressions, the beings, not to the Atma. And therefore it is always existing. It is indestructible, O Bharata. This indweller, Dehi. Deha means the body. Understand? Gross, subtle, causal, all can be taken in this context. In all this, who's the indweller? Atma. So it says the Atma in these bodies of all people is ever indestructible. Means you are ever indestructible. There is no one who can kill you. There is no one other than you, first of all. O Bharata, O Arjuna. You replace Bharata with your name and read it. O Meera. O Priyanka. Like that you read. Then it will be directly Sri Krishna talking to you. He is talking to Arjuna. So you replace your name there. This indweller in the bodies of all is indestructible. I am indestructible. O Bharata, O Arjuna, Tasmat, therefore. You will see this word therefore in many places in the Gita. He logically explains and then brings his thought flow to a conclusion. So when he's saying therefore means what? After giving all the logic, now he's getting to the conclusion. Tasmat, therefore. RHS, LHS is equal to RHS. Left hand side is equal to right hand side. We do that in the maths, no? Like that he says. Therefore, tasma. You should not grieve for any creature. You should not be sitting and grieving for any creature. Definitely not to these people, but to anybody for that matter, you should not be sitting in grieving. Grieving means you have identified with the body-mind intellect complex. Identifying with the body-mind intellect complex is only done by the persons who are ignorant. Therefore, to address anybody, to address anybody as the body-mind intellect is the sin. Some people have this habit when they talk in our local language, especially in Tamil Nadu, you can see. Enna Swami solringa, Enna Swami. Each other, one will call the other Swami, Swami, Swami. Like in the sense, you are also Atma, I am also Atma, manifested in different forms because of different vasanas. But I am also Atma, you are also Atma. Everyone is only Atma, there is nothing else. So this indweller is always something that exists. It is Satya. And all these bodies are Nitya, they are dependent. Don't depend on the dependent things. If you depend on the dependent things, then you will go through suffering. This is what is happening to all of us. When we read all these things, when we understand this, what we are supposed to understand? All these are not independent. That which is indestructible, that alone is independent. Everything else that comes into manifestation goes into unmanifestation. They have the dependence on Atma, the indestructible factor. So instead of going and taking refuge in that, I am taking refuge in the body, mind, intellect, and suffering. So when I understand this, you will say, no more identification with body, mind. Tasmat, you should not grieve for any creature. Any creature means what? Any creature's death or impending death. You don't talk about birth and death. In fact, the more wise you become, the more and more knowledge you gain and reflect and gain wisdom, you will stop bothering about death. You will be concerned only about birth. Because if I have vasanas, I'll be born again. So I should see that I do not have one more birth. One more birth also I explained to you already. Being again getting into the same mechanical way of function. No master gets into the same thing again. Have you ever seen God painting the same picture again? Even twins, they may look similar, they're not same. There is no painting of God done twice. Only once. It's unique. You're unique, I'm unique. There is no one like me. There is no one like you. Why should I try to copy another person or want another person to copy me? Why should I try to follow somebody else's path while I can have my own path? I can learn from others. They should also learn from me. But why should I become subservient to somebody? Why can't I follow my own life? You become subservient. Because we do not have this knowledge. That's what it is. Indweller is indestructible, independent. The more you understand this, you become independent. But independent minus arrogance. You understand? Because you understand that not only you are independent, everyone essentially is independent. So therefore, he says, you should not sit and grieve like this, allowing these emotions to overpower you, and then say that I will not fight. Arjuna, please gain this knowledge about your true nature. You are that supreme reality. So, I explained to you, Atman, eternal, all-pervading, endless, no birth, no death, non-doer, non-enjoyer, inconceivable, all these things we discussed about Atman. Then, from a relative angle, when you look at yourself, I talked about 3C personality. What are the 3Cs of the human personality? Pure consciousness or consciousness, then content, then container. Consciousness is the Atma. Content is the subtle body, vasanas. Vasanas and subtle body. Then container is the physical body. These three put together is you, me, and all of us. 3Cs. So from a relative angle, we are 3C personality. From an absolute angle, we are 1C personality. If you understand this 3C and 1C, then you will say, oh, I see. Otherwise, you will not say that. You understand? So you understand that you are, from a relative angle, 3C. From an absolute angle, 1C only. And there is only 1C everywhere. Right? So when you understand this, and you are working in this world with this understanding, you will be having control. Otherwise, you will be completely controlled. So from verse number 11 till 30, we have concluded this topic number 2, very important topic in the second chapter. Indestructibility of the Atman. So, you can go back and listen to our classes from the beginning so that you get the entire summary of what we have discussed so far. And all of you must sit and do your own self-study. Make your own, summary of these topics. We started with introduction to Gita. Before that, Dhyana Shlokas. Then we explained Sahana Vavtu, the invocation that we do in the class. And then we did first chapter ka summary. And then we did first 10 verses of chapter 2 ka summary. Then verses 11 to 30 that we have concluded today. So like this, whatever we have done so far, please write your own summary. So you'll get the gist of it. So when we conclude the Gita, you will be able to see the whole picture, what Sri Krishna is trying to present. You'll have the Vedic vision. That's what it is. Let's conclude. Om. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.